I think right now in Carlsbad, more people are getting sober and clean than ever before. We've got, if you took the state of New Mexico and drew a cross on it, the whole eastern part of the state, we're the largest provider of residential treatment in that region. And we have that in Carlsbad, and other communities don't have that. We have more sober living houses than any other place, which is kind of a transitional step after rehab. We've seen, since we've started our sober living program, expanded the AA community, the Celebrate Recovery communities, are things that have expanded in Carlsbad. So there's a lot of people that care. There's a lot of people that are getting help. At Lifehouse, we've tried to create a continuum of care for substance use and mental health so that whatever severity level people are at, we have resources available for them. Our highest level of care is detox, so if someone wants to come off of fentanyl, alcohol, those tend to be the two that have the most difficult detox. We have a facility with 24-hour nursing. We accept people 24 hours a day. We have not been at full capacity. We've had to turn people away in that program, and so literally 24 hours a day, you can bring somebody to our main facility at 1900 Westridge for detox. We have rehab, residential treatment. We've doubled the capacity what that was since we took VA over in 2021. We have residential treatment for women with children, so women that have kids that are kindergarten age or younger can keep their kids with them while they come and do that program. It's usually a 30 to 45-day intensive program. We have 4 sober living houses now. We expanded into Artesia last year. We're going to start construction on 2 more very soon. In the next quarter, we'll be doing that. That gives people a long time to make the transition from 30 days of treatment isn't time to learn a new way of life. It's a good break, but you need more, and that sober living program gives people as much time as they need in a supportive environment. We have outpatient counseling as well, general mental health counseling. We have higher levels for intensive outpatient. We have groups. One of the things that we provide that we start providing is CRAFT, which is a family program. So if you have a loved one who has a substance use problem, a lot of times people have no idea what to do. There's alternatives to just cutting them off or enabling them, and it talks about how to maintain a relationship with someone with substance abuse and encourage them to get help without being too pushy or damaging that relationship. We offer that twice a week, once in English, once in Spanish. We're looking at expanding that program as well. We have a pretty robust peer support program, so people who have lived experience with addiction, people can get support on that side as well, and the more practical elements of recovery. We've got about a dozen peer support workers now that work with our residential clients and people in the community. So while the substance use problem, mental health problem, a lot of the outcomes we're seeing are rough right now, we're also seeing more positive outcomes. I have people that I met in the jail a few years ago that work for me now that are becoming counselors. This is something, it's possible for people to get better. I know we don't see that a lot. We don't hear those stories a lot. We see the bad side of it, but good things are happening. There's a lot of possibility. There is help available. We need more help available. We're trying to do everything we can to continue to expand. I know Janelle, and the need is huge, and we can all agree on that, but it's easier to get sober in Carlsbad than it used to be. And there's a lot of help out there. And just like we want to create pathways in the things I mentioned earlier, we can all be pathways when we're educated on where help is found and when we encounter someone that needs it, making sure that we can be the one that hands them off to the right place. And if anybody wants to learn more about it, be happy to come give you a tour, come check us out. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
We offer veterans and their dependents case management and counseling at no charge. The other thing big program we have is suicide prevention efforts. So we have a number of appointments held throughout the week because what happens here is there's more demand than there is capacity. So if you call in, we give every single caller a suicide screener. It's called the Columbia Suicide Severity Rating Scale. And if you score, we're going to try to get you in really quickly so we can safety plan with you. Because what we know is that, one, we don't have a lot of resources. We're talking about Las Cruces and Roswell, and taking you out of your community if you are having suicidal ideation a lot of times is not best practice. We know that best practice is keeping you in your community, getting you in with mental health professionals. And so we have a few of those spots available here in Carlsbad that we are going to try to get you in as quickly as we can. And that's something that we're working at growing as we are bringing on more therapists and programming that we want to expand further. So we do prevention also, meaning that we do gatekeeper training. So free of charge to the community. If you have a group, we've done it with the Carlsbad schools, Artesia schools, is how to identify and talk to people, because we're sitting in we're there, but you guys are out in the community and you're interacting with your friends and your family members. And suicide's a really hard subject to talk about. And so we want to teach you how to say, the way, something seems a little off, or what you said, are you thinking about suicide?
If I could add to that, we do, I think back in October, we went back with the anonymous alerts program as well, that I think is probably underutilized. I mean, you put it out there a little bit more, but we do have that. You can just Google Carlsbad School District anonymous alerts. It takes you directly to a place where a parent, a peer, a self, community member, anybody can anonymously report any concern of bullying, rape, sexual abuse, neglect, a fight, guns, cheating on a test. Not that that's going to be, not that that's our priority, but I mean, they can report anything inappropriate that they want to be addressed. Some other options in the community, just that I'm aware of, but I only think for them is Presbyterian Medical Services does a lot of the general mental health services, and then Rise Up Counseling is a division of what used to be known as the Child Advocacy Center. It's now known as Affirming Hearts, and they do a lot of the trauma-based counseling. And we've actually, at the school district, partnered with them in helping our staff deal with traumatic deaths and things that are happening on campus, and also in teaching our staff how to have a more trauma-informed classroom in response to these increased negative behaviors that we're seeing. So we're at the school district too. We're moving towards we're strengthening our behavioral threat assessment processes too, so that not only just so that we can prevent an immediate threat, but when we see that maybe it's not an immediate threat, but there's still some concerns, there's still some things, there's still a need for treatment, that it's kind of like also a screening tool for us to intervene before it gets to maybe an immediate threat, or before it gets to something worse. And I'm pretty excited that the school board approved a new position at the high school for a school behavioral health counselor. So we'll have an additional counselor there that will serve students, have a caseload and do group counseling and things like that. So teachers and other counselors can refer, and that position will probably take on a lot of the behavioral threat assessments and suicide screening. So they'll be more educated, more experienced in that area.